will be Total Chaos versus duolckrad. Game number 1 in a best of 1 for the round of 64 of the Tri-Civ Cup. Spawning on the bottom of the map in the color blue, we do have Total Chaos playing as the Germans here. 100 wood, 100 coin start there, 3 food crates. Won't be getting a trading post ASAP unless he gets quite lucky on those treasures. We'll have a look around the map in a moment there. I think he knows that he won't be getting a trading post, and that explorer just going to sort of head off into the wilderness and see what he can get done. duolckrad in the north of the map, playing in the color green, playing as China, and also not going to be building a trading post. Of course, China get a fixed crate start, so actually that is something they can do. Not going to be doing that. Also going to be going out into the wilderness to scout, and finds himself a settler treasure. But
not a very takeable one, though.
No, that looks like it's... Well, no, partly because it's covered in pirates, which the Chinese... Oh, he does get a punch in. That's just like a drive-by punch. Can you take that treasure? Because it's not like when you hover over it, it doesn't work for me.
Well, you have to have an explorer selected to be able to pick it up, so... You can pick it up, don't worry.
But when I go to other treasures, I can see, you know, this box comes up.
Well, you're hovering on the wrong part of the treasure. You're hovering on the villager. Yeah, there you go.
I'm a scrub.
Anyway, so I was going to mention that, well, as you sort of already pointed out, duolckrad could have gone for a trading post, but actually opted not to. He went for the 2 village star, it looks like. He's chopping up the wood for that. And on this map, I actually don't think that's a terrible decision. Of course, you get an extra villager out of that and 20 population, which is also nice because that second village can help defend some more resources, which is nice against Germany in their raids and stuff like that. But also there's just some really strong treasures on this map that you can run into, like the 110 wood that we saw last game, or the 100 XP and stuff like that. And you can always build that trading post later on. So I don't think he's really lost too much by going for 2 villages instead.
Yeah. Second village. There it is. And now coming down onto the... Oh, here we see 75 wood. Germany's going to spot it, but China has eyes on it too. Looks like Total Chaos is going straight towards it. He's not going to take it though.
Yeah, I think he did actually use his crack shot on a 20 wood treasure that was up in duolcrad's base when he was walking through there, so might not have the crack shot available yet, so just going to do a little bit more scouting before returning to that. But unfortunately for him, he's walking quite far away, and it looks like duolcrad will actually be able to start that up and take that. Yeah,
I don't think he's going to be able to get back in time. He needs to hang out sort of a bit closer, but 75 wood going to go to duolcrad, and that's going to be a nice treasure. Let's take a look around Manchac then, because we did see 110 wood treasure in the previous game. 80 food here is pretty good, and 60 food as well. Lots of alligator treasures, as you'd kind of expect on a map with a bog like Bayou. But I don't think there is that wood treasure. I don't think that's spawned today.
Yeah, I guess it was just a 75 wood as the biggest wood treasure on the map this time around. But that's not a super big deal. There's lots of other good ones as well.
Yeah, plenty of other good treasures. Germany, though, went for a market start by the looks of it. Started with 300 food in crates, and that makes it a bit easier to grab that market. And that's sort of what he's done there. So that's nice. Got himself hunting dogs. And now we'll be going up to the next stage, is aging with the quartermaster. And the game will really get going. This is where it kind of starts.
Yep, both players going to be going up to the Fortress Age. Colonial Age. Probably also going to be going up to the Fortress Age.
Yeah, I wasn't going to correct you, so I was like, yeah, that's probably true.
But, yeah, China going to be a little bit slower, which is pretty standard for them. Looks like he did actually opt to eat his goat rather early, just to make sure that he could get that age up in a few seconds earlier, which can be important against a civ like Germany that can have Ulans in your base very early off the back of that first shipment. And also just helps you get your 700 coin in a little bit earlier, start your Fortress Age up faster. Yeah, looks like could be a tower rush, although he's researching placer mines right now, so maybe going to be a forward barracks for Doppelsoldners or something.
Hazza coming in with a shipment of 34 Dragoons. Thank you very much for the host. That's a lot of Dragoons. Can you imagine the work you'd get done with a 34 goon shipment?
Oh, it would be... Would the civ ever lose?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's like the one mechanic they would have, I suppose. Anyway, Fordville, and he is gathering for... He's got 9 villagers on wood still, so I don't think he's going to be able to get that tower down in time. So perhaps not a tower.
You don't have to. You don't have to start the tower immediately.
Okay, I suppose the settler wagon.
Yeah, the settler wagon can build it quite quickly, and you can actually get that shipment in on time, even if you start it a little bit late.
There's the tower. Okay. So outpost is going to go down, and then probably build some forward buildings with those wood crates, right?
Yeah, he did. I'm still a little bit unsure what he's planning to do right now. I mean, obviously he's going to be doing something aggressive. Well, maybe not. I mean, he's gathering a lot of coin right now, dropping another house. You got our barracks going down yet? No, he's researching steel traps. So you could actually just be going for a fast fortress with a forward shipment point, maybe.
Oh, okay. I guess that works.
Yeah, I mean, just there's no resources for a military building. He's gathering food and gold. So I think that's what he's aiming to do right now. Probably going to be 3 settler wagons on the way at the moment, which has arrived.
And come forward.
700 coin, you're going to be coming next, and he'll get the age up in very early. He can send those settler wagons to the forward tower here, which he's done, and get those Ulans into the base very, very early. Disrupt some of the eco here. Deny a little bit of herding and stuff like that. Do some scouting, spot that 700 coin shipment, and know exactly what's going on.
Yeah, he knows what's going on. He's in very, very fast with the 2 Ulans.
Yep, and he does get some idle time in. Almost gets a Vil, but not quite. Yeah, overall, I actually kind of like the decision to go for the forward tower. I mean, it's going to make it a little bit harder for him to get military building up and stuff like that in transition. But he is going to be able to put on a lot of pressure very fast in early fortress, and China typically doesn't have any way of really denying you the tower. Might actually be able to save this villager with the monk and disciple, and yeah, he is actually going to save the Vil with 2 HP.
Yeah, that almost was quite close there. There's now 3 very low HP villages in the Chinese player's base. They'll have to sort of look after those. But yeah, nearly ready to go up to the next stage. Looks like Total Chaos is just going to gather. He's not going to ship 700 gold to help him up to the next stage. He's just going to rely on the fact that he's got that steel traps and placer mines upgrade in. Really, really efficient. And he knows that China isn't really going to do anything about it, since China, has a very sort of defensive agenda, or perhaps that's not the right word for it, a really sort of passive agenda, at least until he gets up to the fortress age.
Yep, and speaking of the fortress age, China is now on the way there with 4 villagers on that porcelain tower, a consulate and a barracks going down as well. So he's going to be fully set up once he does hit the fortress age. Germany, on the other hand, now aging himself, probably going to be up before China even with the exiled prince politician, and has a shipment ready. Doesn't have any 700 wood or anything like that coming in, so he's probably going to be going for maybe 1,000 wood first, actually, and that will allow him to get those military buildings down, but that is going to delay his pressure a little bit.
Yeah, that is going to slightly, normally we'd see 700 wood from Germany, right, and that's what you'd get all the buildings up with, but you're going to take it sort of very slow and steady. How do you feel about 1,000 wood? He built this forward outpost, which seems like it's really useful for getting the shipments into your opponent's base very quickly, but just sort of not going to do that at all.
Yeah, I think it's going to be totally fine. Just look at how many shipments he has right now. He only has 1. If he sent 700 wood, he might not even have a shipment ready upon hitting age 3 here. So I think you might as well save it, hold off, get that extra Ulan and the extra 300 wood from it.
He's just spent 1,000 gold, Mitoe, so his first shipment will actually be a mercenary shipment. So Total Chaos has in his deck Black Riders and Jaegers, one of those coming.
Yeah, so he is still planning on being rather aggressive. Of course, that does house him, so he's going to be switching some villagers over to wood back at home. Like, you're going to have to buy some wood as well, just to make sure you can get those houses down. But yeah, 13 Jaegers or 9 Black Riders this early could be a little bit scary for China.
That is really early.
Yeah, before that shipment comes in, I just want to point out duolckrad being really diligent with his village placement on the right side of the map here. Going to place down that 3rd village since he knows that Total Chaos is being pretty passive with his build order. He knows that he can build that village out there, get those resources secured a little bit more safely for later on. So I really like that. Not going to be relevant for a while yet, but it will give him some vision as well of any Ulans that might want to raid through here. And yeah, intervention coming in now.
Yeah, muskets arriving. Actually, it's the Chinese consulate, so not muskets. Oh, no, it's not a Chinese consulate. I'm looking at this weird barracks. There is no Chinese isolation. That would be that would be a thing. He's going to get those muskets. There they are. Yeah,
but it's going to be Jaegers as the first card.
Hello.
Pick off a couple of Vils here 2 do go down. A third one goes down as well, the low HP one picking that off next to the village. And going to just back on out of there with those 3 villager kills. Going to be feeling pretty happy about that. And unfortunately, China, not enough cavalry to feel comfortable to go in there without knowing if there's any more units other than the Jaegers going behind this. So duolckrad just going to keep his military pretty far back in his base. He's got lots of vision on the front there, so you can see an army coming in and react to it appropriately, but wants to make sure that those units are pretty safe.
Followed up with 5 Doppelsogners and, of course, 3 Ulans as well. A lot of sort of protection, so to speak, for those Jaegers anti-cav here.
Yeah, and that's going to give him a lot of siege, too, if he wants to maybe sit on top of this summer palace outside of town center range and just use those Jaegers to zone things off of that. Not going to be doing that yet, but that's certainly an option available to him with those Doppelsoldners. That maybe wouldn't be as strong if you went for something a little bit more standard, like the 3 war wagons.
Does have a few meteor hammers, though, duolckrad, waiting on the side there, but they'll be met by Dops if they do try and go for the Jaegers. Perhaps they can go and do some raiding these villages.
Yeah, well, with
in the German base.
Looks like he's just going to be content to sit and wait a little bit longer for some more military shipments. Not going to be committing to any raids or anything like that. Just keeping those cavalry units hidden. And yeah, Total Chaos also applying a little bit of pressure with these Ulans on the left side. duolckrad positioning his army to protect those villagers as they come out to that hunt, and does actually get some kills as a result. He's going to get all of them, actually.
Yeah, it looks like he might know. He's kind of spotted it. He's decided he needs to get away and change angle, but those China Cav, with their really long range, have managed to clean up quite a number. A bit of a mistake there from Total Chaos, and that is you know, something that you really can't be doing as Germany with such low HP units.
He's doing a counter push on the right side, though. He's going to get some compensation for that, kill this village, deny some of these resources, and he did kill a villager up here as well, I believe. So, I mean, not the best trade in the world for him. duolcrad's got to be feeling pretty happy about that, but it's not the end of the world for Germany either. And duolckrad is actually housed off of losing that village quite badly, actually. So he's going to be struggling a little bit to get out some more units. So he's going to be forced into fighting now, and it actually looks like he's got quite a strong army here. I don't think those 4 Dops that are left are going to be enough to deal with all of the cavalry here coming from all angles. There are some Ulans coming in to try and support the Jaegers, but this positioning just looks really, really good for China.
Yeah, it looks like he's done a phenomenal job. Muskets going to take down the rest of those Ulans. The Jaegers not going to last much longer there. There's just so many German units. I'm not even sure if 8 additional Ulans that he lost would have been overly helpful there. Really nicely cleaned up from duolckrad.
Yeah, and I like that he didn't just chase down these Jaegers. I mean, he probably should have left some more cav there to deal with them, but he's not just immediately going to chase them down. He's just going to go straight for the forward base before Total Chaos can recover at all from that. Although he's going to be losing some villagers on the right side here. Maybe didn't remember that the village has actually been lost, so he's going to be losing that, and actually he's going to be forced to retreat as a result.
He's going to lose a lot of villagers. He could even lose maybe all of them. These are veteran Ulans here, and those muskets, they're still in melee mode, so unless they switch over, they're not going to do too much damage. Now going to run away from them.
Yeah, and
nice raid.
Some more raids going on the northern side of the map as well. Some settler wagons also stealing some gold from the next mine that China might be looking to go for, so might as well, while you know that your opponent's not going to be able to be raiding. But yeah, he's getting a lot of work done right now, and despite how well that fight went for duolckrad, just made a little bit of a mistake with those villagers, and he's actually looking to be in a pretty poor spot as a result of that. Total Chaos is up like 40 score.
Yeah, he's got only 27 vills, and somehow now Germany has bounced back in terms of military. I guess 8 Ulans will do that, and training Ulans, and managed to save this forward base. You know, that raid that you managed to kill those vills, this stable probably would have gone down, and managed to get a few more units out of it. So has quite a large mass now.
More vills going to go down on the northern side here. Going to be a quick pause from Total Chaos.
I want to check what units he's got, because I don't think Germany's got anything other than cavalry here. I think his army is just pure cav. Yeah, I
think you're right about that.
So up against what China's got, which appears to be a number of musketeers, perhaps
it's
not ideal.
Just musketeers and cavalry. So the Ulan's not going to be super useful against this.
But he has got, if they fought right now, there's probably enough Ulan. There's 42 of them. They'd probably win.
Yeah, maybe. It's hard to say with how close to the Chinese base they are at the moment. If he got some more reinforcements from the tower stable, maybe he'd be just fine. But I had a thought in mind. Where was I going with that? Oh, yeah, I was going to say the big advantage, though, for Total Chaos right now is actually just the mobility of these Ulans, which he's using really well, just applying tons and tons of pressure onto the villagers everywhere. And that's what's making the game so hard for duolckrad right now.
Town center going down, though, but more villagers being lost. He needs this town center to replace them. He's lost so many villages. But
yeah, he's also sitting on 1,300 wood, so he can certainly afford town centers.
That is a lot of wood. That is a lot of wood. What went wrong? That's so much wood.
I think he had his porcelain tower on wood for a long time, and then he sent 1,000 wood as well. So, yeah, he's definitely a little bit mismacroed, but he is going to be able to invest that into his economy and hopefully recover a little bit as a result of that.
It's like 1,400 wood plus another 500 for this TC. Like, I wonder what compelled him to send 1,000 wood. But yeah, perhaps he can get a third town center down or something like that.
Yeah, he's still got a pretty strong standing army, though, all things considered. Another 6 redcoats coming in.
Black Riders coming in.
So he's although he's behind in economy, like his standing army is quite strong. So he's not out of this yet by any means, and the scores are actually relatively close as well. But upon spotting the skirmishers, looks like he might be opting to back out here.
Looks like, yeah, he's not sure. No, not going to take that fight just yet. Let's take a look at units in queue. Maybe there's a batch on the way.
Town center going down in the middle. I'm not sure about this town center. There's nothing actually here for the town center to really defend, aside from some wood lines that it's not really even next to.
Aggressive forward map control. Yeah, maybe that should be placed up in the top here, perhaps. You know, where these...
Yeah, it does give him the possibility of popping shipments here and also Minutemen, so it does secure the map a little bit for sure. Just doesn't really defend resources the way he'd like, although I guess on the northern side of the map here he wouldn't be able to really secure these resources either, as he's not actually able to build the town center in the optimal location.
Oh yeah, you can't place them in the water.
By the way, there's another push going on down here. Black Riders and Ulans now onto the village. Looks like the village is probably going to go down. No, not going to commit to that, actually. Minutemen actually were called as well at some point, apparently,
so
fearing the loss of that barracks.
So I don't know what's Total Chaos's thoughts here. Do you think he's a bit sort of reluctant to fight because he knows he's killed so many villages and that he thinks his game plan is, oh, I should probably just keep massing and massing. I don't want to randomly lose my units. I just want to keep massing and massing. And at some point, I'll be so stronger that I can't just randomly lose my units because I'll have massed so much more than my opponent. He's very reluctant to go in and take a fight, actually killing even more villagers. Maybe seeing this town center and the one in the middle will spook him a bit and will force him to actually into making some sort of fight happen. But yeah, it doesn't seem like he wants to take a fight at the moment.
Yeah, no, he's definitely waiting, but looks like we are going to be getting into a fight now.
Reshuffling those cav quite a lot.
This is actually, he feels like he's lost a lot of yes of those Ulans, but I think it's going to be enough either way. His military population is quite far ahead, although the Minutemen coming out from the side and the Musketeers getting into melee with the Ulans, it looks like duolckrad might barely be able to hold this. More irregulars popping from that town center. There's not going to be a lot of anti-cav left at the end of this, though, and if there are some reinforcing Ulans coming in anytime soon, that could be a bit of a problem for him, and he doesn't have enough skirmishers really to deal with the skirmisher mass either, so Total Chaos going to be taking the better end of this fight, and that town center is going to have to be abandoned.
Yeah, it looks like he's not going to be able to hang on to that unless he's got some cav coming, which he doesn't. And look at that, more Black Riders. Is that from a saloon? I must be.
It's the same Black Riders, I think, actually.
Okay. And some war wagons and skirms. Another huge army just sort of coming in. Looks like now his opponent perhaps didn't need that 1,000 wood and had his porcelain tower active on wood for so long, just generated so many resources that weren't effectively turned into military, right? Lost a lot of villages as well, and the German eco is just really far ahead at this point. Wins that fight, and now I think he's poised to go on and finish out the game here. Looks like he's just going to go back, take down that TC, and then head on over to the juicy innards that is the Chinese player's base.
Yeah, he's definitely in a great spot right now. A lot of these villagers as well are going to be super exposed on the northern side of the map, and they're not going to be able to drop down any villages or anything to defend themselves because of that water. And yeah, this is just a rough situation to be in as China. He does have a little bit of time, though. It looks like Total Chaos might be looking to go back to siege down that town center, but as I'm saying that, there are still 10 vills over there, so I guess that wouldn't exactly buy him time if he ended up losing that. But that being said, I'm totally wrong again, and I'm not actually sure what Total Chaos is doing with his army at the moment. He's kind of just sitting in between the two bases. Maybe trying to deny this gold mine. He knows that he stole the gold mine on the northern side of the map, and that duolckrad might be a little bit low on that.
Looks like, though, he has seen the villagers go inside the TC and thinks, right, okay, there's nothing really nearby. He's not gathering from any of these resources. I'm just going to siege this down whilst I'm in the area. We'll kill those villagers, spreading the cav and the units out a bit, so if the vills, if they do try and come out, there'll be units from all angles to get them. Looks like those Black Riders, not sure where they're going. But coming in, this is the last-ditch effort from duolckrad. He does have iron troops, really, really strong. They have 60% range resist, a very high rate of fire, and multipliers against everything, it seems. But, you know, without anything to accompany them, I don't think they're going to be the magic unit that will save them.
Yeah, though they are going to help against these skirmishers for sure. He's going to get some good trades here as long as there are no Ulans in the area. But yeah, having spotted the Ulans going forward, he's going to try and get out of there. But he's going to try and save as many vills as possible because he knows he's really far behind in economy already. He doesn't want to just lose everything, but it looks like he just doesn't have the army to do that. All those vills are going to go down. He's still getting some decent shots in with the iron troops, but he just doesn't have the army to really commit to this. But he's got another shipment on the way now. I think he was floating a lot of coin for a long time. It looks like it's probably going to be the Manchu coming in next, but they're going to be fighting before they actually arrive.
Yeah, and that's definitely not a good idea. But kind of forced into it. Those cav a little bit caught. GG coming out. Looks like we're not going to see the Manchu after all, and duolckrad does resign. And that is going to be game number 1 in this best-of-1 series.
Yeah, a little bit of a rough start from Total Chaos there with the fight going really poorly for him in early Fortress, but then just recovering really well with the mobility of his units and abusing the fact that duolckrad's army just couldn't defend those hunts on the northern and eastern sides of the map, and got a really big economic advantage as a result of that. And then, as you mentioned during the game, played it really patiently, knew he was ahead, and knew that he would just outmass China if he was just making sure that he kept himself away from any potentially bad fights.
Yeah. It looked, though, for a moment that Duck had a moment where he could have beaten Germany. There was a fight sort of in the middle of the map, or was it sort of around here, where he cleaned Germany out, and then there was that counter raid on the side. He killed a lot of Ulans for free, if you remember. It was an interesting game.
Yeah, it was actually a pretty good game overall, I'd say. Yeah, so Total Chaos is going to be the victor there, is going to move to the round of 32.